Are you someone who freaks out anytime your cash goes below a certain amount? Are you someone that maybe you get freaked out and afraid of investing because you're worried about the thought of you not seeing the cash that you have in your bank account anymore? If that's you, you're going to love this episode. Welcome to another episode with Dr. Latifat. I am the founder of MoneyFit MD, the platform that is committed to helping women physicians just like you curate the money and wealth that they want. I'm super excited about this episode because what I'm going to talk about is something that is so common, and I've coached so many women physicians on it that I figured I should talk to you guys about it in case you out there are struggling with this and maybe you're not doing the things that you're meant to do because of the fear that you have. I do want to say before today's episode, I was just reflecting on our time together in Atlanta for the Wealthy You Life event. And oh my goodness, it was so amazing. We had such a great time. I had expectations. I knew that I wanted it to be great, but honestly, it surpassed all of my expectations. So now I'm recording this about a week after, and I'm like, I miss all the humans that were with me. And it makes me wish that we had another in-person event that was coming sooner. However, the event that we have is going to be September 2025, and I'm so excited about it because as of the time of this recording, we already have more than 50% of the spots taken. It's kind of crazy and wild that we're talking about September 2025 and the seats are already taken up. So if you're listening and you're on our podcast, you're listening on YouTube, you're a woman physician and you want to join us, I highly recommend that you send an email to concierge@moneyfitmd.com, because if you're waiting until 2 months before or you're waiting until a month before, we may have no tickets left. And the reason why is not because I don't want you to hang out with us. The reason why is because one of the feedbacks that we had from our attendees was that they loved the intimate feeling to it. And I also did. I like the idea of knowing everybody's names. I like the idea that I can talk with you. We can chat on the side. So for that reason, we're not going to make it into like this big conference. So if you're a woman physician and you really want to be in the room, I want you to send an email to concierge@moneyfitmd.com so that we can make sure that you get your seat booked before they run out. I don't know when that's going to happen, but procrastination does not help anybody. And I did a video actually of my 11-year-old that was giving her feedback about their event. I mean, she wasn't there in person, but just like based on her watching the videos and the pictures and talking to her mama. And she was like, Mommy, like, it felt like you created an experience where people got to connect together. They got to have fun. And I was like, yes, child. It was an experience. So I just have so much gratitude. And if you're watching me on video, you can see how I'm like glowing and smiling and like being all excited. And the reason why it really is because we had such an amazing time. And I know that September 2025, God willing, is going to be even better because now we even have some feedback about some things that people want to hear, and we're only going to get better and better. So if you want to join us, make sure you send us an email. And maybe for you, the reason why you're afraid of joining is because you're like, okay, I'm looking at my finances, I'm looking at my money, and every time my money dips below a certain amount, I freak out. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, I will be honest with you, like anytime we're investing in any investments, we're buying assets, right? If you want to send the down payment, whatever, your cash is going to go low. And what I find is that so many times that fear of cash going low can freak out so many people that it prevents them from investing. And that is so important because as women physicians, we know that we cannot save our way to freedom. You don't save your money until you get free. You have to invest your money in order to achieve the freedom that you want. I mean, when I look at my life, when I look at the fact that we're able to take a year off, travel with our kids, we did 20 countries. If we had relied only on saving as a way of building our net worth or saving as a way of building our wealth, it literally would take us like dozens of years to be able to accomplish what we've been able to accomplish in 7 years. So I'm not just here like talking crap or just like making up stuff. I'm literally are telling you what I have done in my own life. And I always tell people that people can say whatever they want to say and talk is cheap. However, what you want to do is ask people what they are doing. And I will tell you that investing leads to freedom. That is why when women join us inside of the money school, I'm like, yes, we teach them how to manage their finances. We teach them how to take the income they're currently earning and how to amplify that to build wealth. But what we don't obsess over is what's the perfect budgeting app? No. Debt is bad. No, we're not hyper focusing on that. Because my belief is that the reason why so many women physicians hyper focus on that is almost like we're being given plastic toy to play with, plastic knife, because we cannot be trusted with the real deal. So my point is this: when it comes to freedom, when it comes to living the life of choice that you want, the way you get there is by investing. And if you're now afraid of your savings going down or your checking account balance going down, and that's preventing you from living the life you want, from investing, from being brave, really, then it means that we need to address this. Another thing that comes to mind was one of our members who's a badass woman physician. Her goal was to start her own practice, right? She wanted to start her own practice where she can serve people directly. And she was a W-2 earner at that point. She was working for a larger hospital. And the fear of what would happen if her income is like interrupted and her cash goes down freaked her out so much that fear was what led her to not start the practice when she wanted to. She got the support she needed. She got into our program. We taught her how to think differently about money. And some of the things that I'm going to share today are literally the things that's helping women physicians create their freedom, because they're not obsessed with the amount of cash they have in their account. They're not letting that determine their joy. And they're not letting like this threshold that they've like literally set for themselves prevent them from actually living the life and creating the bigger amount of money that they can potentially make by doing their own thing versus like being a salary physician. Okay. So hopefully that background just lets you know like how this can really show up in your life, where the fear of can literally cause you to have pain and like panic and all this other stuff and prevent you from doing what you want to do. So if that's you, the question now is like, are you crazy? Is there something wrong with you? And why is it that you may be experiencing that? And I will say that it's not your fault, because like most things when it comes to money, we've been conditioned to be addicted to what I call like paycheck addiction. We're addicted to income, where if we don't get that little dopamine hit every like twice a month or once a month or however frequently you're paid, it's like your heart rate starts to go up, your like your neck starts to constrain and like feel choked, because you're like, what is going to happen if this does not drop in my account? I mean, yes, we live in an economic world, and you want to eat, you want to have shelter. Maybe you're the primary breadwinner in your family. Maybe you're a single mama. Maybe you have kids that are dependent on you. You have pets, This is gonna sound funny, but one of our team members at work, one of our nurses at work, I always laugh at him. I'm like, your dog is bougie. So for someone like that, they may literally be freaking out because their bougie dog is gonna be not happy if there's an interruption in their paycheck, right? But every single one of us tends to have this threshold that's been set by culture, by tradition, where below that threshold we start to freak out. And again, it's not a problem if that motivates you to go out there and earn more and make more and invest differently and all this other stuff. However, if it's actually limiting you, then we need to change it. And this is what I teach my women physicians to do. And I literally coach people to do and walk them through inside of our money school. And what it is this: if you want to build wealth like you've never built before, if you want to invest like you've never invested before, you are going to have to increase your capacity to experience or see potentially that lower balance than you're used to. Okay, so many times we think we're afraid of what we're gonna see, and what that does is we're not even like we're so afraid of the idea that we're not even letting the low balance ish happen. And when I say low balance, it may literally be like maybe you're used to having like 15 grand or 20 grand, and every time you get down to like 12 grand in your checking account, you start to freak out. Or maybe for you, your boundary or your border may be like 100K. Every time your emergency fund falls below 90,000, you're like freaking out. Or maybe for you, maybe like some of you guys are like, Latifat, $300,000. Like the amount of money that sometimes people have in their savings account can be so high relative to how much they're investing that it could be limiting them from growing well to the capacity that they could be growing well, right? That is why it's so important for you to start asking yourself, number one is, what am I making it mean if my money drops below that? Am I making it mean that life is ending? I'm horrible. I'm the scum of the earth. I cannot be trusted with money. Like literally, that is when the limiting beliefs, the true beliefs that you have, start to come out. When you face the reality of the situation, when you face the potential risk and the potential possibility that this could happen, the truth starts to come out. And honestly, I think it may be a blessing in disguise, because it really shows you what is beneath the surface that you may have been ignoring. So are you someone that's judging yourself? Do you have thoughts about yourself and how you handle money that you think will be covered up if you have all this cash in your bank account? Are you someone that, like, you don't trust that you're always going to be provided for? You don't trust in abundance. You don't trust that your brain has the capacity to be able to create for you. I mean, when you look at pictures and look at videos of someone on sabbatical, it looks great and amazing and fancy. And I know that it is. But in order for me to be able to take a year off, I had to work on my own threshold and go through a mental exercise of being open to the potential of my cash being low and not freak out. And not freak out to the point of taking an action that is going to be the exact opposite of what I would like for it to be. So imagine if I freaked out at the 3 months interval and I'm like, I better go get a job. Like, the amount of work and benefit that the time away gave us was mind blowing. And the idea that we could have missed out on that because of panicky fear of low cash potentially, the thought that me investing in real estate and the stock market over the last couple of years would not have happened if I did not get used to the possibility that my checking account or my emergency funds could go down transiently while I'm building it up. Honestly, even that thought is more scary for me than the actual thought of low balance in my account. And again, asking yourself the real questions of, if it goes down low, what am I going to do? What is the plan? What's my risk mitigation steps? Literally, I came up with all of this, and it's part of why I was able to do the things that I was able to do. So again, I want to make sure I put this together for you. So number one is this: what thoughts are you hiding about yourselves, about your money, about your trust and your ability to be provided for by yourself and by abundance, really? What thoughts are you trying to cover by having a lot of cash? Number two is, what emotion are you trying to avoid? Is it guilt? Is it shame? Is it discomfort? Because many times, for many people, it may be a discomfort in my belly, or it could be, chest tightness or shoulder tightness or tightness in my neck. And I've literally walked people through this inside of the money school so that they can actually experience that in advance, so that they're no longer walking around afraid of the chance of having low cash. And the beautiful part of this is this: most times that biggest fear does not even happen, number one. But number two is, now you know in advance that even if that was to happen, you now have the clarity of mind. And I will never get tired of seeing the face of people that I've coached through this, where they go from avoiding, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see me withdrawing from the screen, going from that to instead being almost this brightness comes on their face when now they're able to think not from an emotional perspective, but come up this is the assessment, this is the plan. And at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. So I hope this episode has been helpful for you. If you're someone that that fear, just know that number one, you're not alone. It may not be your fault. However, there's a solution. And if you answer the questions that I just asked you right now, you will be able to walk around with more freedom. You'll be able to invest more aggressively, so that you have a potential chance of getting better return. And also, you're just going to be clearer and be able to come up with an assessment and plan. And if you're someone that really wants to live a life of freedom and grow your wealth, this is something that you cannot avoid, right? And I think about so many times when people do things like hurt themselves because they lost money in an investment and blah, 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 blah. part of it is really because they're not willing to ask themselves this question in advance, but also they may not have put themselves in communities or environments where they can get the help and the support that they need. So that's what I have for you guys today. I really want to know if this has been helpful for you. If it has been, leave us a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on the podcast, leave us a review. Let us know what has helped you, if this is helping you. And of course, I would love it if you could share this with another woman physician, because my goal is this. I want women physicians to be free. I want women physicians to be able to live the life that they want. I want us to have control over our time. And if you look at healthcare, there's a lot of crap that's going on right now. And I truly believe that women physicians are positioned to have the creative ideas to solve the problems that we already know exist. And it's going to be close to impossible for you to do the work that you're called to do if you don't have your financial ish together. So that's what I do here. I hope this has been helpful for you. I love you. I appreciate your time. And of course, if you want us to help you take things to the next level in your own finance, it would be a pleasure to have you inside of the Money School, as long as you're a woman physician, which means that you're MD, you're a DL, you're MBBS, or you are a dentist. DDS, DMD? Yes, we're here to serve you too. I love you guys. All you have to do is just send an email to concierge@moneyfitmg.com. We'll schedule a time to chat and we can get things rolling so that we can serve you better. All right. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next episode. And don't forget to share this with all the people that you think could benefit. Bye, guys.